Class.
Yes, yes.
Let's get ready for some math now. Now remember, during math, there's an opportunity to gain dojo points. You get dojo points for participation, showing effort, and for making good choices. All right, today's objective for math is to apply area and perimeter formulas for rectangles in real world and mathematical problems. What that simply means is that we will be measuring volume. Now, you've heard the term volume several times during science, as we've been talking about the physical properties of matter. So volume is also a physical property. And today we're going to practice measuring rectangular, three-dimensional shapes, and some other objects. But first, for the math lesson, what kind of tool do you think I will need to measure this with? Chloe?
A ruler.
A ruler, and thank you for raising your hand. Yes, so you will need some tools for this. You're going to need your math journal, a pencil, and a ruler. Go ahead and take those tools out. Now, who remembers the formula for measuring volume? We've discussed this before, so I want to see if you remember. I'm digging your prior knowledge. What is the formula for measuring volume, Anthony?
Length times width times height.
That's right, length times width times height. So we will be measuring volume of objects that you can measure with a ruler with, and like I said, what about if you have something that's shaped kind of funny, like it's round or irregular? Do you think we could use a ruler? No, but there's another way to measure volume, which we will practice today, using a graduated cylinder. But first, let's measure this. So, what I love about this lesson is not only we're measuring volume, but it'll also work on your multiplication and adding skills. So, I will take my ruler, and as you can see using the dot camera, it'll project for everyone else in the class to see. I am going to hold my ruler. First, we should do the length, which means how long the object is. So I'm going to measure length here, and I am getting, oh, and are we using our inches or centimeters? Centimeters, yes we are. So you're using my ruler, making sure you're on the centimeter side, and if you're not sure, please raise your hand and I will come out and help you. We're going to measure this block for its length, and I'm getting, can you guys see that under the dot camera? What number am I getting there? How many centimeters, Chloe?
7.
I see 7 too, 7 centimeters. So let's write that number first. And I'm going to write cm for centimeters. Now I need to multiply that by the width. What does the width mean? How, Chloe?
How thick it is or skinny.
Right, so how wide it is, the width. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and place my ruler again from the very edge of the rectangle here. You guys see that on the dot camera? Okay, and what are we getting there? I see
2.
2 what? 2 inches, 2 feet?
2 centimeters.
2 centimeters. I see the same thing. So I'm going to write a 2 centimeters here. And now the height, which means what? Is it how short it is? Yes, how tall the item is. Now, am I going to stand up my block like that? No. So I'm going to do the height by placing it down on the table, placing my ruler like this. You guys can see that using the dot camera? And I am getting 1 centimeter. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad that we all agree. 1 centimeter. Excuse my handwriting. So now we're going to multiply the 3. We're going to start with 7 times 2, using that multiplication fact knowledge that you have. Chloe, what's 7 times 2?
14.
Exactly, 14. And then we're going to multiply 14 times 1. And what do we get? Anything multiplied by 1 is what? Its number itself. So it is still 14. 14 what? Inches, centimeters?
Centimeters.
We are working with centimeters. But there's something missing. It's a 3-dimensional object.
Like 3.
A 3 where? Where am I gonna put that 3?
It's small and has to be above.
Yes, it's a little exponent here, 14 centimeters cubed. Cubed when we measure volume. Awesome job. So that's the way you would measure something that is three-dimensional, that has a straight edge, it's rectangular. But what if I have an object that is shaped like an egg? Now we will be using a graduated cylinder. This is a graduated cylinder, a measuring tool, just like a ruler, used for measuring volume. We will use the graduated cylinder for measuring objects of irregular shape, something you cannot measure with a ruler. The graduated cylinder, I want you to take a moment and just look at it, and you'll see that it's marked in increments of 5 milliliters. Do you see the numbers on it? Okay. Before we start again, what is volume? It is the amount of what?
Space.
The amount of space an object takes up. Very good. I just want to make sure you remember that. Remember to take notes in your math journal if you forget any of this. Okay? So, to measure volume using a graduated cylinder, we need 2 numbers. One is going to be the amount of water. As you can see, I filled it up with water. We're going to measure the amount of water that's already in there. And then we're going to place the object that we're measuring into the water. And then something's going to happen to the water. What do you think might happen? Is it going to get lower? Is it going to rise up higher? What do you think, Chloe?
I think it's gonna rise up higher because the object, since it takes up space, it's gonna like clear out a way to the water.
Bravo, bravo. That was an excellent explanation. So she is right, and that is called water displacement. Once you place the object in, think of yourself putting yourself in a bathtub, right? You fill up your bathtub, you put yourself in it, the water rises. Sometimes we have to look and be like, oh, make sure it didn't spill onto the floor. So the water will rise. It's called water displacement. So let's test it out. Before I put an object in here, and I have a small rock that we're going to use right now, we're going to look and see how much water is already in the graduated cylinder. Go ahead and take a moment with your partner and see if you can both agree on the number.
So 200.
I see 200.
Okay? Any groups want to share? Any groups? Yes.
We agreed on, we see that the water's at 200.
And I agree as well. It is on 200. You know what? I'm going to move this down. Sorry. Because to measure volume, we're going to need the difference between how much water was there first without the object and then how much water with the object. And we have to do what to find a difference? Are we adding, subtracting? Anthony.
Subtract.
We subtract to find differences. Good job. You guys are really, really nailing this. Okay, I'm going to place my rock and let's see what happens. See if you guessed correctly. And let's see what number we see now. And also, just to help you out, each of those lines are 5 milliliters. So looking at the 200, how many levels did it go up?
About 2.
Yeah.
So what is that? If they're each in 5s, we're counting up by 5s. So would you say the number is at 210 now?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. 210. Always remember when we're multiplying, when we're adding, subtracting, we're always placing our numbers carefully in the right place. Value spaces, we are subtracting. And let's just do the math. What is 200? 210 minus 200. Always do our ones first. 0 minus 0, 0. Brings our 1 minus 0.
1.
And any hundreds?
No.
No. So the difference is
10.
10 milliliters, and that is the volume of our funny shaped rock. So this is how we use a graduated cylinder. Okay, now for the guided part of our lesson, you will work with your partner on measuring a couple of different objects. Each group will have the same objects. Now, we are measuring the volume of a book, a hard-boiled egg, and a different rock, not the one that I had. This one is different. You need to, number one, with your partner, figure out what measuring tool am I using? Am I using my ruler? Am I using my graduated cylinder? If I'm using my ruler, I am using, again, centimeters. What is the formula? What is the formula to measure something that's rectangular, it's solid, like the book? Yes, Chloe.
Length times width times height.
Right, length times width times height, if you're gonna use your ruler. What if I can't put the book in the graduated cylinder? But I'm gonna use the graduated cylinder to measure one of my other objects. What do I need to do? What are the numbers I need to write down in my math journal? Yes, Chloe?
What the water height started with.
Right, how much water I have in the cylinder, and then what am I doing?
And then you drop in the object,
You drop in the object, and then what am I recording?
the number, the amount of water.
Right, how much the water went up, that's my water displacement, and then what am I gonna do with those two numbers? Am I adding them, multiplying, subtracting?
You're gonna subtract.
You're gonna subtract to find the difference. Okay, so Chloe and Anthony, how did you measure your book? What tool did you use? Chloe?
We used a ruler.
The ruler. And may I ask, as partners, what did you come up with? What were your numbers for the formula to measure volume? Anthony, what was your length?
21 centimeters.
21. And then am I adding, multiplying?
Multiplying
Okay.
by 14 centimeters.
By 14. So we'll multiply the first two first and then the third number last, okay? So using our multiplication, again, we're lining up our numbers so that we don't make errors. What is 4 times 1?
4,
What is 4 times 2?
8,
Again, we're lining up those numbers carefully. I'm going to put my placeholder here. What is 1 times 1?
1,
What is 2 times 1?
2,
2.
Good job, guys. And now we just add straight down. How many ones do I have?
4.
How many tens?
9,
Oh yeah, 9.
And how many hundreds?
2.
Okay, so do you agree on that number? Also, the height is 1. So 294 times 1 is 294 what?
Centimeters.
What is my unit? Centimeter cubed. Good job. Centimeter cubed. Because again, that's a three-dimensional object. Now, let's do one more guided practice. We are now going to measure using the graduated cylinder. I am going to give each group in here an egg. It is hard-boiled, don't worry. So we are, again, now what do we need to do? What are we going to write down?
The number.
The number of your graduated cylinder, which I emptied out, but it's still at 200. So let's start with that. I'm going to write down 200, but remember we need the difference. So I'm going to write my 200 here. And now here is your egg. Place it carefully in the graduated cylinder. Be careful, maybe tilt it so it doesn't splash all over the place. Ah! Always happens. And what is the water displacement telling us?
250.
How much?
250.
250, do you agree with that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, maybe we want to write those numbers down so we can do the math. 250, you said?
Yes.
Okay. We need the difference. So am I adding or subtracting?
Subtract.
I am subtracting to find the difference to get my volume of that egg. 0 minus 0,
0.
5 minus 0,
5.
and 2 minus 2.
0.
Do I need to write that 0 here? No. So our answer is 50 what?
Centimeters. Wait up. 50 milliliters.
Very good. Good job, guys. Now I'm going to hand out the last item, which is the rock. And again, with your partner, I'll help you get the egg out, and you guys can go ahead and measure the rock. And I hope you enjoyed that mini brain break, got you a little motivated. So now we are ready to do the independent part of the lesson, the I do. So please put your math journals away and just keep your pencil out. So for the independent practice, I am gonna hand out a worksheet, and this is a worksheet on volume. You are to work on your own, independently, but of course, if you need any help, you just raise your hand, and I will come around and give you support. This worksheet will help me assess if you have mastered this standard or if we need to spend more time on the standard. So you have 10 minutes to go ahead and on your own, use your pencil and work out the volume problems on your worksheet. Okay, thank you. You guys did a great job. I can't wait to look at these. Okay, so in closing today's lesson, we have learned more about volume. We've learned how to apply the area and perimeter formula for measuring rectangular solids, and we have also learned how to measure volume using a graduated cylinder. Again, volume is one of those properties of matter, so it's important that we worked on volume today since we've been working on the properties of matter. For our lesson tomorrow, we're going to integrate science and math. How cool is that? We're going to put on our little scientist lab coats and we're going to get to work integrating what we've learned in both subject areas. Now, I want to ask you, in real life, what are some things, some objects that we would actually apply volume to? What would we measure? Why is volume important to know? Anthony?
You can use it to have like the amount of water in the pool.
The amount of water in a swimming pool, great example. Can you think of anything else?
The measurement of a boat.
The measurement of a boat. These are really good, Anthony. What else, Chloe?
Amount of medicine you put in a syringe.
Wow, I didn't even think of that one. The amount of medicine putting in a syringe. Let's see which ones I can think of. Filling a fish tank. What if you get a pool and you need to know how much water to put in the pool? Volume is important then. So, yes, Chloe.
To make slime.
To make slime. Tell me how. Explain that.
Sometimes you have to put a certain amount of water or glue into something so it is right.
Now that's thinking. Good job. Good job. Show me a 3 if you think you have mastered the standard. Or a 2 if you think I did okay, but I needed some support. Or a 1 as in I need a lot of help in this standard. Hold your fingers up. Is it a 3, a 2, or 1? Okay, great. Thank you for your honesty. Now, I'm going to also hand out an exit ticket. This is the last thing that we're going to do. I need you to just write your name on it, and you're going to write the formula for measuring volume. And I really hope you've enjoyed today's math lesson.